Let's take a look at the switch statement. We have an example here. What is your favorite color? And whatever that color may be, you have a response. What is your name? You have a answer to that question and then a response. So let's take a look at that. That is the switch statement. And we have our colors here and values and things like that. You can change them as you need to, whatever you'd like. Now, what we do is we do it with the if-else way. We've talked about the else-if statement, and I told you it was very handy to use this. But if we want to test for a lot of things, a lot of values, we have to actually put a lot of extra code here to test for each condition there. But to do it easier or have it look better, we could do a switch statement. And what a switch statement does, it takes a value here, a variable in parentheses, just the variable, and then we use a case statement to check for the different cases that we might have here. So you can check for a string or a number. What you do is, it's not as powerful as working with the else if, for example, because you can make some very complex else if statements. But if you're only checking for a range of numbers, certain numbers that you need to check, it's best to use it this way. So in other words, if you're using whole numbers, for example, 0, 5, 10, 100, and you're only checking 5 or so, or less than 5 even, it can be a lot easier to actually check it this way. Else if is very powerful because you have a very powerful way to check for a certain expression to do some testing. But as you can see, switch does have its values. So it's just the case 0, case 100, case 200, etc. Now we do have some other syntax here. We have a break statement. If we didn't have a break statement here, and we could execute as many as we'd like here, as many statements in a row, but if we didn't have a break statement, it would continue to test for the next case and even execute the last case, which is the default case, just like if you're using else in an if-else statement or an if-else statement. So it's really there to make sure that you don't continue. So break will break out of the switch statement. It will break out of this area here. It'll go to the first line after that closing bracket. That's how it works. And so you always use it so it doesn't have to take the time to go through the rest of the switch statements to test for obvious things that aren't true. If it already found out that this $ value is equal to 0, well, it makes no sense to continue to test for the other conditions because it'll never be those values anyway. And you just want to take care of that. Always have a break at the end. So it does add a little bit more overhead, in my opinion, and it does have less functionality, in my opinion.